So welcome everybody to Tech Talk Tuesday, another episode. Um, I'm Dan Conger, Baseline's training manager. This is what I do, right? I'm figuring out ways to bring information to you all, make it interesting, and create new content. That's the gist of what I do. Um, so the way our Tech Talk has been structured this year is I'm taking more of a training, hands-on or nuts and bolts more approach. That's my topic I'm taking. Chris and Andy are probably doing a higher level, maybe a thought concept or theories. And then we have some recorded content. So we have content available for you every week, but twice a month it's live content. So this is my turn to do live content. This week on Tech Talk, we are talking about training and training resources and training options. And I've got probably 4 different things that I wanted to talk with you about today. So I'm going to do a screen share, and then I'm going to show you how to find some of these things. What's really fascinating, when I first started with the company, actually before I even started with Baseline, training was a couple of times a year at the factory in Boise, and 3 or 4 of the senior staff. So it was, uh, Nick, and Chris, and another manager. There's maybe 3 different people that would do training, and they had other, of course, they had their day job. That was the only option, and that was in a classroom. Well, when we brought me on board, we changed that up, and I did training in market, started doing online training, created training videos. Basically, we have a real broad approach to training now, and we have a very robust training program. And I wanted to make sure that you all know about that and know that the resources on there. So I'm going to share, let's share my screen, and I'll show you this first thing that I wanted to talk about. We have a lot of content in our baseline training portal. That's baseline.learnupon.com. We'll take a look at that in a minute. But what's it about? Well, we have year-round classes. So every single month, there are classes available. We have at the Learn Upon portal, there are 4 different certificates that you can get. There are 10 on-demand classes that you can take 24/7, right? So you could, as soon as we're done here, you could go into learnupon.com, sign yourself up for a class and take it right now, and then you could pick it up again. You could leave it and come back and pick it up at 10 o'clock tonight if you couldn't sleep, or if you really like my voice. Um, we've had 26 live instructor sessions in this last year. And I have it on great authority that the instructors are really great. Oh, wait, that's me. Yeah. Yeah. So I've had 26 different live instructor-led classes. Those, of course, are scheduled at certain times. You sign up for them at learnupon.com. And we've trained nearly 1,000 people in the last year. And that's a lot of people to be able to reach compared to, doing twice a year, having maybe 20 people in the classroom in the factory in Boise, right? You had to get yourself there if you wanted to get trained. That's not the case anymore. So let's take a look. I want to show you the baseline.learnupon.com portal. So for that, I'm going to bring my browser in and show you what that looks like. And of course, anytime you've got questions or comments you want to throw them in the chat, more than glad to talk about it and hear what you got to say about this. So the website is, of course, baseline.learnupon.com. And since I've been there before, my browser remembers that. The landing at the training portal or Baseline University or Baseline Training Portal is this Baseline store page. So let's take a look what's in here in the store. So for 2 of the first classes are season 1 and season 2 of the Tech Talk webinar. So there's just a whole series of the recordings in there. Fantastic. You could add those into your cart. So here there's 32 different sections in here and another 29 in the next season. Okay, that's great. But what about real classes? Well, this baseline virtual training class is my next live instructor-led class. That's September 13th, 14th, 15th. And then you could open that up and take a look at it. And this will give us a description about the class. So it's 3 different days for an hour and a half each time. And then you get a certificate. And here's the content that's covered in here, right? Certificate. And then there's 4.5 CEUs in this class. So you could add this to your cart and enroll for this class right here. You get the Zoom link, everything that you need to know for this class. I haven't added October classes yet. I'll be adding those in shortly. So this is September, and I had July, August in there as well. So this is the first year we've done summer training, and it's been a really good experiment. Does it make sense? Will people come to training during your busy season? Yeah, it turns out people will. There are a lot of people where things come up with them and they can't make it, but we're going to continue to do a 12 months a year training. Starting October, getting into this through the spring, I'll have multiple classes each month. I'll probably have 3 to 4 classes each month, not just one a month. So if you haven't been to a live training, click on the September class and jump into it. I've got a class for specifiers. I've got an installation training, and here's a very, very similar to the live class. This Fundamentals on Live is a recorded version of that live class. Okay, so let's say there's a class you're interested in. Let's take this baseline installation training. I'm going to add that to my cart. Let's see what happens next. So, yep, there's no fee for that one. So let's add it to the cart. And the next is going to prompt you to create a username and a password. So if you don't already have that, you'll click on this side, you'll enter your email address, and you'll have to confirm it. But I've already got it. So let's sign in with my test user, and let's sign into my user profile, because I've already created this step. So I'm ready to check out. Well, of course, there's no fees on it. So this is just like, an Amazon or anybody else you're going to check out like it would. And coupon codes don't apply here. So, if we had a coupon code that would, but for every single course in the portal is free. So feel free to add as many courses as you want. So I'm adding it to my cart. And now what happens, this takes me to my dashboard for my user Dan Conger test. So we can see I have 3 enrolled courses. I haven't completed any of them. Okay, I got some work to do. So let's take a look at the 3 courses in here. So here's the baseline installation course. There's 13 modules. I haven't started it yet. But this Fundamentals Online, that's the recorded version of the classroom training. I'm 29% of the way through that. So, right, I could take a look. I'm partway through 14 modules. There's little quizzes in there. I could resume that one. Or I am 72% through the Tech Talk webinars. Well, those I'm going to just take as I want. And maybe I only want to see 1 or 2. So I could jump in and out of these at any point. The enrolled courses show me what I'm enrolled, and this will show what I've completed. So when I complete my installation training and get a certificate, it will show me as 1 completed course. It's a lot of really good content at the baseline.learnupon.com store. Highly recommend poking around there and seeing what's going on. So question for you, tell me in the chat, have any of you been to a live baseline training, either in person, like we've done in the past, or one of my live virtual classes? I'd love to know. Tell me in the chat. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to show you was the baseline web training YouTube channel. A couple things about the YouTube channel. Got over 200, in excess of 250 videos on there. They might be webinar recordings, like this recording will be on there, tutorials. I'll take a look at Ask the Trainer. So different categories of videos. And this was kind of a fun fact. We've had over 20,000 views on the Baseline YouTube channel. And this is relatively recent, right? So we've put a lot of effort into the YouTube channel. We started doing it pre-pandemic, but it absolutely made sense. I think for me as a trainer, it really clicked when somebody told me, well, I was looking at YouTube to find out about, like, oh, that's a really old video. I need to up my channel. So let's take a look at the Baseline web training channel on YouTube. Bring in my browser back in. And then let's go, I think I've got YouTube already set up in here. Yeah, let's go to YouTube and let that load. Okay, so on YouTube, you can kind of see some of the things I've been looking at. I've been looking at my own videos, and we're looking at camera gear. But let's find the Baseline web training. Baseline, there it is. Baseline web training is the channel. So let's open that up and take a poke around the Baseline web training channel. So homepage, let's take a look at the videos. And these are the most recent videos that we've created. So probably looks like the last video I put out was a video on the precip sensor for pause and stop. Let's take a peek at that one. And So in this video, I kind of I had an installation video I created maybe a year ago, and I'm reusing some of that content, but this is about some programming effort that goes into it. So obviously I'm talking about the product, not really talking about the installation. And then I get into some programming, and I do some programming that either is live view or at the controller. So this is really a programming and setup video. So we've got other videos that in here, but what's going to happen really quick, right? Is with 250 videos, you this isn't in any particular order. Well, we could find other videos that we want to watch. We could see other Tech Talk episodes in here. The playlists are really valuable. So if you come to the playlist, I've now sorted these videos into different categories, if you will. So here's a category on grounding. Here's a category on mobile access, or that precip sensor video we'll find in here. Let's see. Let's take a look. I wanted to drill into one of these, and I want to look at this messages and alerts, because this is kind of a nice playlist. This is a playlist of about, looks like 43 videos, and most of them are relatively short. Looks like a minute 53, a minute, I got a 2 minute 2 seconds. It looks like one of the longer ones. Relatively short videos. And they're really to help you translate some of that engineer speak of error messages. So here's an error message that popped up on a controller recently, and it was called program. What was it? Seeing the program learn flow complete, spell it correctly, and it was errors. So what does program learn flow complete errors mean? I don't know. Let's find out. Searching that, and that takes me to an alert and message video, and that's exactly what it is. That is word for word what it said on the controller on Base Manager. Program learn flow complete errors. And that's one of the reasons why we encourage people, don't delete those error messages until you've resolved them, right? Because if you take it word for word, you can type it here, and we can find out in a minute and 1 second or minute and 11 seconds what that's about. So this whole series of videos restates what the error is, but then it gets into what's the consequences of this happening, and then we kind of jump into what are some causes on that, and then real quickly we address how to troubleshoot it. So that happens for these 43 different error messages. It's a great resource to use. Highly recommend. So that's a really nice playlist to use. There was another one. So, another one that I like is this Ask the Trainer. So Ask the Trainer is an opportunity for people to ask me questions. So we've got a link right over here, and this link, take a look at that link, see what that link goes. So this takes you to opportunities to submit a question, ask a question to me, and you could submit your question. It gets sent to me, and then what I'll do is on YouTube, I will answer it, not just to you, but to everybody else. So you could submit your own question. You could encourage your customers to submit question, or what you could do is just look at the things that other people have asked, right? So some of the things that I have in here was, I think one of my go-to ones is this operating Christmas lights, right? So this one comes from, I remember this one. This came from Anthony out of Boston, and he asked a question, can I run Christmas lights with the base station 3200? This is perfect timing, right? He asked this like in November of 2 years ago. And so I show him right on screen exactly how to do it, but I'm not doing it just for Anthony. I'm doing it for everybody, right? And we use this as a resource. So Ask the Trainer is a great way to see other simple questions that people have asked, or to ask your own. And so Ask the Trainer is really good. Okay, so we've got YouTube, lots of good resources on YouTube. So let's get out of that. See the next thing that I wanted to talk about. So baseline web training, the baseline knowledge base. Okay, this is another great training, learning resource. So on the knowledge base, I've got different categories of data of knowledge, right? It might be about controllers. So each controller platform has its own category, or maybe it's about sensors, or maybe it's about firmware. And then there's over 550 different articles. An article might be an install guide, a video, a tech document, lots of information in the knowledge base. So let's take a look at the knowledge base. This is something that's relatively new. The YouTube channel's been around for a while. The knowledge base has not been. So to get to that, we're going to start at the Hide Your Point website. So it's at hideyourpoint.com. You can get to it, and then you can go to Baseline, and hopefully already go to the Baseline website. Well, there's one more link on this one, but what would happen? I was kind of wondering about this earlier. What would happen if you went with the old URL? If you went to baselinesystems.com. Oh yeah, you get to the same place, right? They got that figured out. So at the hideyourpoint.com/baseline under resources, and hopefully you've looked at the resources tab, lots of really good information in here, right? So we've got support information, we've got my training information, product documentation, but we want the knowledge base for right now. So let's take a look at that. Did you notice it opened a new tab, right? So I still got the main corporate website here, but we're opening the new browser tab for the knowledge base. So the knowledge base is a technical database is really what it is. What it's going to do is you're going to query it. You're going to give it some things that you want to know. And if you wanted to know about weather track or other components, you could look at it that way. But we're really about baseline today. So I mentioned we could look at a platform. Here's the 3200 platform. Huge, right? Lots of information we put on there. So here's things about programming and installation and troubleshooting. A lot there. So we could go to the controller platform. So we've got all the different platforms are in here. We've got things about App Manager and Pipe View. So that's our management software and our sensors. Let's take a look at the sensors. Actually, yeah, because I want to look at soil moisture sensors. So we could drill right down to soil moisture sensors. So now we've got lots of information about our soil moisture sensors. So it might be, I think these are tech docs right here. So let's take a look at these. So these are technical documents, right? The installation on how to information on setting up a soil moisture sensor. Or let's take a look at under controller setup. And here is a lower threshold. Here's another tech doc, okay? Information on this one, that's good. And then there's related articles here. There was one that I wanted to find. And let's see what all our articles on here. So I'm probably not going to find what I want. Okay, so we've got video. Somewhere we haven't gotten to the videos yet. I need to find my videos. Okay. Let's take a look at another category, which was troubleshooting. I thought I mapped this out pretty well earlier, but I didn't. Oh well. So there we go. So under the controller platform, we can go to tips and troubleshooting might be something that we could look at. So this is different information on here, or I've also got a category on videos in there as well. Okay, so I want to do a search for a particular, I want some, let's just come back to the original source. So I'm at the highest level, and I want to know about grounding. So all I'm going to just do is type in grounding, and let's see what we come up with. So we've got a couple of things here. So I've got a clamp on grounding testing. I've got a tech doc on the 62% grounding resistance testing. And then I've got grounding resistance testing videos. So this is a link back to YouTube. So these are now I've got two videos that talk about grounding testing, and they're here and here. So we've got this knowledge bases can be an index, a way to kind of help sort through all those YouTube videos, because it gets really hard to find them in what category do they belong in, especially if they cross playlist. Here I can tag them different ways. So the knowledge base is, we're continuing to improve that, continuing to sort it and index it. So the knowledge base is also a really good place to look for information. Okay. Then one more category. Of course, this is our Tech Talk webinars, right? So our Tech Talk webinars, so far we've done 16 live videos and 16 recorded videos or live webinars. So this is one of those live webinars. And then we'll have alternating weeks where we'll have recorded content. And of course, we're going to get in depth. We're going to get nerdy. We're going to do maybe site studies and problem solving. How do we get to Tech Talk webinars? Well, probably you already know, but this will be for the people that might be watching this recorded. And that's going to be on the same thing on resources, and then here on webinars. So on webinars, you can see what are up. Maybe you don't know about this. You can look at what's our upcoming topics. So right now we're talking about our training resources and options, right? But then in September 20th, I'll be talking about the baseline data for the field. Chris and Andy are going to spring something on us. They haven't told us what they're talking about the 27th. We're going to talk about some winterizing later on, some water efficient hardware and water efficient program. All right, so kind of get an idea on some topics that you might like. And if you want to register for them, you can click on the register and get ready to submit your information, and then you get the automatic link. So I think you can also get to the recorded content here, or you could look at what our previous topics are. So again, lots of information on this one. Use the website. I think that's probably the gist of it. Is go to the website that will link you to all these different resources, and get to those. Okay, so I didn't see anybody dropping in the chat, but I'd be curious to know if anybody has. Actually, you can't do it in the chat, can you? You got to do it. I think you got to do it in the Q&A if I'm not mistaken. So let me see if anybody's done that in Q&A. But yeah, I'd be kind of curious to hear what. I'd be kind of curious to hear, who's been to training. And then I had a couple other questions, and these are probably really practical because these apply to me. I'd love to know I have a two-part question. What is the best month of the year for you for training? And this is going to depend, of course, probably when you're busy season, when you're not slow season. So I'd love to know what month is ideal training for you, or maybe it's 2 months. So I start training in earnest in October. That's when I'll offer multiple sessions. Well, if you're in the West, you're probably still you're definitely still watering in October. I live in California. I water 12 months a year. I just slow down a couple months. You're in the East, maybe October works for you. And then I'm going to taper off March. Sometimes I'll trail into April, and April's always kind of dicey. And then those other months, I'm going to just do it sporadically. Okay. So I got July and January. Okay, cool. October, November. So what's interesting about Jeff's comment on July and January is that has an implication that once your season kind of gets stabilized, you got a little bit of breathing room, and you could surface for that one. That's good. Okay. So October, November is good, Marco. Thank you. Second part of my question: what time of day is ideal for you? So I do as early as I can. Since I'm a West Coaster, I do 7:30. So if you're an East Coaster, that puts you 2-3 hours later. But in your time zone, do you like first thing in the morning? Do you like midday, or do you like end of the workday? That's something I'm kind of working on developing my schedule for next season. So that would be really good to know. So I'd love to hear that information too. Okay, I think that's just about it for my content today. Finished up a little bit early today. That's okay. So yeah, keep in mind, right? So we've got baseline.learnupon.com, kind of as a summary that's really overarching, right? We've got courses with quizzes, or if you're going to take live content, that's how you sign up for it now, right? But the concept on learnupon.com is it's comprehensive, all-encompassing. If you go to YouTube on the Baseline Web Training channel, it's going to be little bites and pieces. You're in the field, you want to know, what does this mean? You're a distributor and you want to help someone set up a cell modem and you forgot how to do it. That's perfect. Watch a 3-minute video and you got it. Or you're a contractor and you're going to go out to the field to install that cell modem. Watch the video, right? You're going to be the smartest person out there because you've watched a 3-minute video. But that's going to be bits and pieces. So it'll answer a specific topic, or super micro specific. You have an error message and you don't know what it means. You watch a 1-minute and 30-second video, boom, you know exactly what to do. The knowledge base is a great resource, and it's a way to help index some of the content, the depth of the content in YouTube. And then Tech Talk webinars, you want to get nerdy, that's a great place to do it. Okay, that's what I have for content today. I want to thank you for joining me on our Tech Talk Tuesday. So I believe up next is, I think we've got a recording that's going to be I don't know exactly the schedule, but I think it's probably going to go recording, and then Chrissy and Andy will be the next live session. So look at the website on that one. If you got any questions, that's fantastic. If not, I want to thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next time. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.